Welcome to Rack of the Week number 115. I call it the sacrifice. You know, I've often thought about going back and watching some of my earlier Rack of the Weeks and how would I feel about them. And boy, I lack the courage to do that. I think it might be a little cringy. I don't know. I think there's good information in there, but I'm just saying, I think in the 2 years or so that I've been doing these Rack of the Weeks, my thought process has evolved. And I'm sure I'm doing some things different. Maybe that would be a good Rack of the Week. Just go back and review a few of my old Racks of the Week and see if I still agree with what I said back then. I think I'll agree mostly, but I would have some better insights. This week is called The Sacrifice. I'm going to talk about something that I've really been paying attention to. And what it is sacrificing your break ball. So if you listen to a lot of my Rack of the Weeks, and especially in my book, I talk about the fact that you need to identify your break ball early or manufacture one early. And then, I don't state it explicitly, but kind of the idea is once you get that break ball, you better latch onto that baby and protect it with everything you have and work around it. And I don't know how wise that is. I'm noticing as I'm watching a lot of the great players, I noticed it with Nick Vandenberg recently, and of course Thorsten Holman, John Schmidt. You'll see them very easily and casually deciding to shoot off what is obviously the best break ball for the next rack. Sometimes without even a backup break ball. And then they somehow manage to manufacture one and keep going. And I've never enjoyed making that decision. And I even struggle with it in this rack. But this is a great example. Let's get going and take a look. I've got an inside angle, slight inside angle. Watch the cue ball back up. See that? I think I would have scratched if it wasn't for that 14, and that kind of thing happens. But that was a straight high ball, and the cue ball backed way up and then came back around to the other side of the rack. Really interesting. Anyway, if you look at the rack right now, I don't have a break ball. All the balls opened up pretty well. There's almost no two balls touching. I don't have a tight cluster in the center of the table at all. I just don't have a good break ball, but I've got some possibilities to manufacture one. The problem is I'm a little unlucky. I do not have a single direct shot. But the only direct shot I have is I might be able to cut the one ball all the way up here. And boy, that's just double tough. But look at that carom shot. Look at that carom shot on the 11 ball off the 6. That's a great shot. And then I'm going to have the 1 ball or the 9 ball or something back this way. Yeah, that's great. Now, watch where the 6 ball goes, because this is what causes the trouble in the rack. Is that unlucky? I'm going to tell you, no, it's not. When you're shooting any combination carom, any kind of shot that involves moving balls, opening clusters, you need to take a look and decide where is it likely to go. I could have hit that shot that I just played just a little bit softer, and the 6 ball may have stopped here, or somewhere better than tied up with the 2. Don't look at that and think, what bad luck I got. No. You're the one who shot the shot that made the 6 ball move there. So a little bit more, and I'm talking a half a second of thought to say, I want to hit this hard enough so the 6 ball just hits the head rail and comes down to center table. So that's not bad luck, but it does cause me trouble. So from this point, I've got a couple of shots. I could shoot the 12 up table. I've got an up table ball. I think I can cut this solid, the 3, and I do have a shot on the 1 ball up in the corner, which is the shot I choose. And the reason why is I'm trying to manufacture a break ball. I've got an angle on it, but I'm close enough to straight in that I'm confident I'm going to make it. And I'm trying to go into the edge of the 5 to knock the 5 over. The cue ball is going to knock the 8, possibly knock the 8 over, but I will have a shot on something, one of these 3 balls here. So I know I'm going to have a follow-up shot. And boy, I didn't come anywhere close to that 5, did I? Maybe I wasn't trying to hit that 5. So that may have been, I know that was an attempt to manufacture a break ball, and I don't know, I can't claim that I was wise enough to predict that I was going to knock this stripe to the rail and off, but it's a possibility. And then I did nudge these balls as well, and so the immediate follow-up shot that I go to automatically, I have an angle on the 4 to knock the 7 ball up here. Once that happens, everything's in the open, and I just have to deal with the 2-6. So all those decisions happen real quickly. And I hit this shot really well. good speed control on that carom. 7 is a perfect break ball. So in my mind right now, I am committed to the 7 as a break ball because it's ideal. I don't have a good key ball. This ball, believe it or not, could be a very good key ball because from many angles up here, I can cut this 11 and simply come over here. It's a very controllable shot. I can shoot it at a lot of different speeds. So that's not a bad key ball at all. And then of course you know that I prefer, or that I like, one of these balls as a key ball because you can get an angle to bring the key ball straight up this way or go to the rail and out. So I'm not worried about the key ball. What I'm worried about now is these two, the 2 and the 6. This runs over if I don't get those open. And what I'm looking at now, you'll see me go measure it. You need a cut shot that brings the cue ball into these balls. I would think from the side, I guess from the bottom would work as well because then you'll have a ball back this way to shoot. But did you see where I just pointed? I pointed here because I want an angle on the 5 to go forward right past the 7 into these balls. And I don't get it. I think that would have been productive. I think it's very likely, had I gotten that angle, that I could have shot the 5. And what I like is don't just smash into these with no purpose. I like coming off the top of the 6 rather, because then the cue ball goes this way. You don't have to hit it hard. The 5's going to be gone, so you'll have this ball here as an insurance ball for sure. But if you come across the top of these, the 6 is going to hit the 2 will bounce out, and the 6 is going to stay there. So likely your next shot is going to be the 6. So there, we're planning what's going to happen with a breakout shot. But I didn't get that angle. So I've got to decide what to do. I'm running out of balls quick. I've got to address these balls. These 2 balls don't do any good to open the 6 and the 2. Unless if I can get the cue ball over here, shoot one of those, and come off the bottom rail into those balls. But that seems kind of unlikely from here. So you'll notice that what I plan is using this 13. I want to get the cue ball like in this angle so I can shoot the 13 and go into those. And so in order to do that, I decided to shoot the 8 and go 2 rails. So I've made a pretty good picture in my mind. I haven't pointed at the table, but I felt like I made a pretty good picture in my mind of what I wanted. Unfortunately, the previous shot I went too far, and this shot I went too soft. Way too soft. And this is the sacrifice. I felt like I've got plenty of balls to open up that 2-6, but I'm committed to this 7. It's just like pulling teeth to get me to shoot that 7. I'd rather shoot the 5 again or the 12 or do something fancier to give myself another chance to get the correct angle on this 13. By the way, I could cut this stripe ball right now, but it's really thin. The cue ball is going to have a lot of speed, and it's less controllable. You don't want to shoot a shot that's missable. This is missable, especially when I'm also trying to break up a cluster. But I do come to the decision, because I've been thinking about this lately, that this is the time to sacrifice. There's nothing wrong with shooting the 5 ball and doing the same thing I just tried to do with the 8. Come back to center table so I get this angle to go into the 13 there and open up the 2-6. But I decide it's a higher percentage play to sacrifice the 7 ball. I'm going to shoot the 7 and sacrifice my best break shot because I can open up these balls, preserve the 5 as an insurance ball back here, and then I'm trusting in my skills to develop an end pattern that'll put the cue ball right here for this ball as my break shot. And I think that's the correct play. This is a play that I almost never used to make, and I think it's very important if you want to be a real good straight blue player. You've got to trust your skills to handle the rack without the optimal break ball, with the secondary or third best break ball. By the way, I'd like to point out also that if something works out where I can't use this 13 as the break ball into the next rack, the 10 ball can work as a break ball. I could shoot these up table balls and get an angle from either side on this 3 ball to set myself up to shoot the 10 and go into the bottom of the rack. So I have 2 other break balls. This is a perfect example and a good time to make the sacrifice. And you can see I know it's the right shot and I'm still struggling with it. I'm really, look at me trying to get comfortable with that idea. Yes, it's the right shot, Bob, shoot it. And I don't go into these balls correctly. I hit them too hard, but it works out. This is kind of reckless here. I just wanted to make sure I got the cue ball open. So this worked out well. I kind of created a little bit of a problem here, but it's not bad. Now that the balls went where they did, the end pattern to me is almost automatic. The 6 is the key ball. This 12 ball is the K2. You can get lots of angles, like I described earlier on this 12, to get near straight in on the 6. I would actually like to be on this side of the shot line, just a little bit, so that I can follow the 6 ball in and get the cue ball right here for this break shot. So the only shot to shoot now is the 5, and I'm cutting the 5 to my right. So if the cue ball's over here, I'm going to have a tough shot shooting the 10 and getting a follow-up shot. So I've got to come short side on these balls. So this is just following to the rail, a little bit of inside English. I'm going to have a shot on any one of these 3 balls over into this pocket. So this will work out just fine. Shoot the 3, that moves the 10 away into the open, and I've got a shot on the 2, pretty automatic. Now the 10 ball shot line is, like here, and I'd like to be below the shot line because then I have 1 rail position for that 12 ball. If you come above the line, you can still get there, but it's a little trickier to go 1 rail off the bottom rail. So I want to be straight in, or here's the shot line for the 12. I want to be straight in or past straight in somewhere over here. And I kind of get straight in. I hit that just a little weak, but I'm cutting it just a hair to my right, and I can still get the right angle on the 6. Look how easy this was after I made the decision to make the sacrifice and shoot my best break ball off. Now I've got the perfect angle to just follow to the rail. I want my cue ball to touch the rail, because if it touches the rail, then it's going to come off the rail, and I've got a really ideal break. This is a diamond table, so I've got an ideal bridge. This is a diamond table, so the pockets are real low. It's not like a gold crown where you might want to be out a little bit farther. But here I've got no trouble bridging over the pocket, and I can have a really solid rail bridge. So I'll watch myself come around, sight the object ball, sight from the cue ball, visualize the break shot happening, and then find your aim point and lock onto it as you get into your stance. Straight high ball here. Look at that cue ball backed up and then pushed its way through. Even if the 1 ball didn't come down here, I'd have a shot on the 7. This is just ideal. Shoot the 1, move the 5 ball off the rail. I got shots back this way. I have got 2 break balls already. What an ideal break shot. And it's largely, now you might think, my previous thinking was, I need to preserve that 7 ball. Hey, what's wrong with the results of this break shot from my secondary break ball? Nothing. And that's why the sacrifice is something really important that you got to make part of your straight pool game. Hey, hope you like that. Apologize for the echo chamber. We're going to have this for a couple more weeks. And then I don't know what it's going to be like in Arizona when I get there, but probably have an echo chamber there. I better make a couple racks of the week ahead of time. Thank you for watching. Hope you like that. See you next week on Rack of the Week.